Yeah, 39 books. Yeah, come on. Yo, seek ye out the book of YAH and read. Speak these words to plant your holy seed. Obey his voice, know him and believe. Understand his YAH is none but he. In the beginning he told us the ending, that we wasn't winning because of the sinning. The 400 sentence of Charles' descendants needed repentance, and this is our Genesis to our Exodus in Leviticus. Learn, put some respect on this, so we can number our days. The teachers that we was the slaves, and Deuteronomy 28, the most popular. When he anointed Joshua, it's proving that YAH love us by sending his judges, rejecting the grudges, embracing the truth of the nations. The truth is shown through Ruth, the woman that David come through. Pete Samuel 182, YAH's chosen the kings, and you one too. Recognition Chronicles in the first and the second, and Ezra Kohen, fasted by the river Ahava, stood with Nehemiah in the time of Hadassah, better known as Esther. Job struck with disease and boils that festered, and we giving our alms while singing Hebrew songs. The most wisest words are spoken in Proverbs. The Colette, the teacher, ecclesiastical preacher. Fellas wanna reach her, quote the song. The songs belong to Solomon. Understand the way that I'm on. Isaiah, Jeremiah, lamented when Jerusalem fell. Also seen by Ezekiel, vision vividly given to Daniel. YAH said return to him in prayer. Remember Hosea, if we call on YAH, he'll remember us well. Spoken by Yoel, there's no other book as famous. The words get deeper in Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, and Micaiah. There's none like YAH that rides on the whirlwind in Nehemiah. I'm giving you a look like he gave to Habakkuk. Gather yourselves and learn from Zephaniah. Consider your ways, word up to Haggai, cause this is the last days. And men Zechariah, remember the law of Moshe. And this has been 39 books given to you by Ishaq Malachi. Seek ye out the book of YAH and read. Speak these words to plant your holy seed. Obey his voice, know him and believe. Understand his YAH is none but he. Seek ye out the book of YAH and read. Speak these words to plant your holy seed. Obey his voice, know him and believe. Understand his YAH is none but he. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Come on. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Come on. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Seek ye out the book of YAH. Come on. Yeah. Let's go.
Praise Yah. Let's all face the east, bow our heads, and raise our hands. I come before you, Yah, asking and begging for you to forgive me for my sins, transgressions, and iniquities, because I know I have sinned far above, far beyond my ancestors, Yah. I come before you humbly this day, bringing out your word and your word only, Almighty Yah. I have an understanding that we're not always going to see eye to eye, Yah, but I pray that you will guide my lips this day as we go through your word, because your word is pure. There's nothing added to it and nothing taken away. I pray for all of those who are in need, including myself, Yah, all of the widows and the fatherless, Yah, all of those who don't have shelter, Master, who don't have food. I pray that you will clothe and feed and shelter those who are in need, all of those who are sick. I pray that you will touch them, Yah. All of those who are your servants, Yah. All of those trying to do right. I pray that you will have your hand on your people and all of your servants, all the heathens who serve you, Yah. Thank you for this day and all the days that you have waken us up and given us breath. I appreciate every day that I wake up, Yah, and I get to serve you. It's another day that I get to serve you, Almighty Yah. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yah, my strength and my redeemer. Hallelujah. So today, we're going to talk about the books of YAH. Praise the Almighty Yah. Welcome in, everybody. Hallelujah. Praise the Almighty. All glory goes to Yah. Hold on one moment. Okay. Forgive me. All right. So today we are going to start in the book of Exodus. And I know this is one of the things that Moria Alicia taught. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that Moria Alicia went outside of the 39 books, praise the Almighty Yah, as far as and how we should live. As a reference, sure, going to other books might have some historical accounts, but as far as the truth and the law, it's always going to be in the so-called Old Testament. So you have Exodus chapter 34 and verse 14. And it reads, "For thou shalt worship no other God, no idol. For Yah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous Elohim. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice, and thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods." In Exodus chapter 20, it reiterates the same thing in verse 4, and it reads, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah, your Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments." Praise the Almighty Yah. So the Most High is letting us know that he is a jealous Elohim and doesn't share his glory with anyone, right? And the Most High doesn't lie. If you go to Proverbs chapter 30, Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 5, it reads, "Every word of Elohim is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar." So, when it comes to a lot of these other books outside of the so-called Old Testament, they're adding new things, right? Some of them might not necessarily add new laws, but they are adding new characters who aren't even mentioned in the Old Testament. Just like the New Testament. The Old Testament never mentions Christ, right? We know the Old Testament never mentions a lot of these new characters that pop up in a lot of these other books. And some of the storylines are different, right? Some of the events that take place are not events that the Most High backs up or confirms. So we have to be careful when we decide that we're going to go off into other books besides the Most High's books, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 40. And Isaiah chapter 40, and starting at verse 8, it reads, "The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our Elohim shall stand forever." Right? And those other doctrines and other books are not the Most High's word. They can reference the Most High's word, just like you have the Quran. The Quran can reference the Old Testament. The New Testament can reference, or I'm sorry, the Quran can reference the Old Testament. The New Testament can reference the so-called Old Testament. Many books can reference the Old Testament, but that doesn't mean they're not adding things that are just not true, right? So we got to be mindful when we go out into these other books, because remember, we might say, well, the book of Maccabees, or, this says this in the Quran, or what this says this in this book or that book. But at the end of the day, many books reference the Old Testament. That doesn't mean that it's the Most High who put that book together for us, right? The Most High put these books together for us, right? These are the books. This is the book that the Most High wanted us to remember, the book of remembrance, the so-called Tanakh. These are the laws that the Most High gave his people. And so everybody wants to bite off of that and add their little twist and add new things to whatever. And at the end of the day, if you're going to reference the Old Testament, I don't really need your book. I mean, does it make sense? I don't really need your book, because everything that's in the Old Testament, everything that you're saying is already in the Old Testament. So I don't need you to add new things and new events from your perspective, a heathen's perspective, or the perspective of whoever was ruling at that time, who had a hold of our scrolls, or got a hold of our scrolls, got a hold of our history, and added things to it. You understand? Which is why I refuse to go outside of the 39 books. Praise Yah. But let's keep going. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Right? We all know Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 2, where it says, "Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yah your Elohim, which I command you." So you might even find yourself going by certain things in other books that cause you to err or error, right? Because there are erroneous things in these books. And you want to be really careful with situations like that. They might trick you, and there's certain things in there that might cause you to go astray. If you really look at it and study it, you'll see that there are things that have been added to these other books that don't align with the Old Testament, right? Even if they reference the Old Testament or confirm it, right? In Isaiah chapter 14, okay, we'll talk about it. We will definitely talk about it. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 27. So it reads, "For Yah of hosts has purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?" Who shall turn it back, right? Yah is the greatest author. Yah is the one who published the book of life, the book of all of the books that we need, that the Most High has published for us to live by, are in here because Yah's word is pure, right? I didn't even bring up the fact that this is the only book that the Most High Yah speaks in, right? In Genesis chapter 6, we read how Yah regretted making man because our imaginations were always evil. We were always just bent on evil, bent on evil, bent on evil, right? Ever since the tree of life in Genesis chapter 2 and Genesis chapter 3 um, was taken away from us because we chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so just because it's knowledge doesn't mean that it's always going to be righteous or it's always going to be holy. You understand? Praise the Almighty Yah. Let's go to Psalm 56. Okay. So in Psalm 56, David is referring to the Most High's book. He says in verse 8, "Thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in your book?" Right? This is the book. Same thing in Psalm 69 and verse 28, where it reads, "Let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous." So the Most High has a book of life, right? But we don't have access to that book. That's a book in heaven. We don't know anything about that book. It's mentioned in Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1, right? When we read, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." So we know that the Creator does have another book. We're aware of that, but there's a book that the Most High has that we just, it's not accessible to us, right? And so um not just the fact that this is the only word that we need. These are the only books that we really should be going by when it comes to life. But understanding that there's nothing that we can do to change this book. It's already been written. You know, I was I was talking to my daughter about this uh the other night, and I was telling her, you know, the book has already been written. The word has it's already been spoken. There's nothing that you can do to change the book. There's nothing you can do to change the characters in the book. Everybody is a character. We're all a character in this story, in this storyline, right? We choose if we're going to be good or bad, if we're going to be righteous or if we want to play a villain, right? And you can't change that. You can't change the Most High's word. The Most High said that the wicked are for the day of evil, and then you have the righteous for the Most High's kingdom, right? And so it's already been spoken. Just understand that your life is up to you, right? And y'all have to understand your life is up to you, and there's nothing you can do to add to this story, and there's nothing you can do to diminish from the story because it's been spoken. I don't care what book you read, they can say what they want to say and add the details they want to add. Doesn't make it true. It's just like if a movie is at the box office, if a movie is in the theater, right? There's nothing you can do to change that movie. The movie is what it is. It's already the books that have been published have already been published. If you don't have the power to change what a man wrote, if you don't have the power to change what a man produced, then what makes us think that we have the power to change what the Most High has already spoken? The Most High told us this is all we need. The Most High Spirit put these books together, right? Um, all right, let's go to Isaiah 34. Let's go to Isaiah 34. I mean, because what is the study if we don't have this in it, right? If we don't read the scripture. In Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16, it reads, "Seek ye out the book of YAH, and read. None or no one, excuse me, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it has commanded, and his spirit it has gathered them. And he has cast the lot for them, and his hand has divided it into unto them, or divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein." So seek thee out the book of YAH, and that's YAH, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, right? Something that you will never find in any other book except the 39 books, right? This is the only word that you will find the Most High's name, period. And this is the book of the Most High's laws. But as I was saying before, there's nothing that we can do to add to or diminish, nothing we can do to change the Most High's storyline, nothing that we can do to change any events that are going to occur. And when the time comes, everything is going to, prophecy is going to fulfill itself regardless, no matter what we believe or what we do. It is what it is. Just like Jumanji. Once the dice or the die are rolled, um, all the evil things, every plague, it's all going back in the box. All right. So let's talk about some of the books outside of the Most High. or some of the books that claim to be outside of the Most High, outside of the Most High's word. All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 10. And verse 13. Okay, so it reads, "And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher, or the book of the righteous?" Right? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day, which all of this is still accounted for in the Old Testament, right? It's the book of the righteous. It's not a book outside of the Most High's word, right? That's just one, right? Let's go to Numbers 21. And in Numbers 21 and verse 14, it says, "Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of YAH, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon," right? And so you will have people of that era, a certain era or certain time, whether it's medieval, the Hellenistic time, different time periods, who wrote from their perspective of what they believed were in these books. They will take from the Old Testament and they'll give their historic account, and then they'll give, reference to the Old Testament as well. However, it doesn't make these books outside of the Most High true, right? The Book of Wars is also something mentioned in the Most High's word in the Old Testament, so we don't have to go outside of that. Let's go to First Chronicles chapter 29. First Chronicles chapter 29 and verse 29. And you'll see, "Now the acts of David the king, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Samuel the seer," right? Which is a book we all know is right here, First Samuel, Second Samuel, and the book of Nathan the prophet, and in the book of Gad the seer, right? Many different books are mentioned here. And as like we were saying before, the book of Samuel, of course, is in First Samuel and Second Samuel. Then you have the accounts of Nathan, which can also be found in First Kings chapters 1 and 2. And then you have the accounts of Gad, which can also be found in First Chronicles and Second Samuel, right? It's just like we were saying before in the beginning. Although the New Testament claims the Abrahamic lineage, right? Christ claims to be from the lineage of David. Okay? He claims to be from he claims to be from an Old Testament lineage, right? And I'm not saying that, if he existed, of course he would. All of us would come, but all of us do not come from David. All of us do not come from the Hebrews, right? There's Shem, there's Ham, there's Japheth, right? So when you go outside, right, of the Most High's book, you start to get into a little bit of confusion because there's other things that are added into these other books, which is why, again, I have to reiterate, we have to be careful when we go into these other books because they'll add some things that people will think are okay when they're really not, right? Y'all's laws, I do not have to read in the New Testament, even though the New Testament mentions the Old Testament laws, because I know it's false. I know the New Testament is a lie. And they went so far as to attach this totally separate doctrine. We're talking about a book with a whole nother deity to the Tanakh. So I definitely would not trust something that's completely detached from the words of Yah. I wouldn't trust something they attach to the words of Yah. So I'm not going to trust something that's completely detached at all, right? And that have, come later on. Some of these other books you'll see they deal with Greek mythology or, pedophilia, like the Talmud. You go into these other books and you have these books. You can go over in Israel and you can go to their libraries and you can look through these books. You can research these books. You can go online and research these books, and it's like, the first sign of something that just doesn't look right or doesn't align with the Old Testament. I can't get with it. You see, that's just not something that we should be doing. But you'll also have new characters, not just, the Greek mythology and pedophilia. You have new characters, new events that took place, characters that were never mentioned in the Old Testament, right? Like we're saying, they were totally erroneous. And so if it doesn't align with the Most High's word, and it doesn't, if it changes, if there's something in there that's different and it's changed from everything that the Most High spoke and the events in the Old Testament, um, it's wrong, right? It's wrong. Let's go to Exodus chapter 31. In Exodus chapter 31 and verse 18, we'll see um, where the Most High wrote in the 39 books. The Most High didn't write in any other book. He wrote in this book. He wrote in these books. He wrote in these scrolls. He wrote in the Tanakh. He wrote in the Torah, right? That's where the Most High wrote. He didn't write in any other books, right? And so if he put these books together, the Most High Spirit put all these books together, then this is the only thing that I trust. In verse 18, it reads, "And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing, with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Elohim." Written with the finger of Elohim. And you will not see that anywhere else. You'll see a reference to that, and maybe some other sacred scripts from some heathen nations, but you won't see where the Most High actually wrote in their book. You won't see where the Most High actually spoke in their book, right? The Most High wrote and spoke right here. That's it. And that's the only thing I trust. And that's the only thing any of us should trust. It'll all start making sense in the end, right? It'll all start making, I promise, it'll all start making sense in the end. It might be making sense to some now, but I promise you, I'm going to bring it all together. Okay, so in Deuteronomy chapter 9, Deuteronomy chapter 9. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 9. And verse 10, it reads, "And Yah delivered unto me 2 tables of stone, written with the finger of Elohim. and on them was written according to all the words which YAH, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. Right? Praise the Almighty Yah. Exodus chapter 32. Exodus chapter 32 and verse 15. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written both on their sides, or were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written, right? These are the commandments that the Creator wanted us to keep. This is the word that the Most High wanted us to go by, right? That's telling us, that's special. I don't know if that doesn't mean something to you. I don't know how to make it, mean something, but that means a lot to me. That this is the only word that the Most High spoke in, and the only word that the Most High wrote in. In Deuteronomy chapter 12, okay, I'm going to read verse 32. And it says, "What thing soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it." Right? There's a reason for that. There's a specific reason why we're not supposed to be going by books outside of the Most High Yah. When it comes to the Most High's laws, when it comes to um, keeping everything correctly, right? Exactly how the Most High wants things done without adding anything from a heathen's perspective. Let's go to Psalm chapter 12. Okay. And in Psalm chapter 12, verse 6, it reads, "The words of Yah are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times." The Most High's words are pure. Okay. The Most High has not said anything that he did not want us to know. Remember, the secret things belong to the Most High. If the Most High wanted us to know more when it came to things outside of his word, the Most High would have put it together in the 39 books. Okay. It would have been here. Am I saying that you can't go out and get knowledge? Absolutely not. It's good to have knowledge. But when we're talking about the Most High's laws, I kind of find it insulting to bring out books outside of the 39 books, outside of the Tanakh, because we don't see the Most High's name in there, and the Most High doesn't speak in there, and the Most High did not write in there, right? So, however, you can go like I said, and get knowledge. You can teach about, science and math and things like that. And it's beautiful. And, some history about the other nations and all of that. But again, there are things that maybe I should just put it this way. On the Sabbath day, on the on the Sabbath day, it should all just come from the Tanakh. It should all just come from the Most High's words. That's it, right? Any other day, you know, fine, whatever. People, they get whatever they get from other books. But when it comes to the Sabbath day, I think, all of us should be in agreement. And I'm speaking about all of us as practicing non-messianic Hebrews, right? No other books need to be brought out on the Shabbat, period, right? According to Isaiah 58, it should all be about the Most High Yah, period, right? What the Most High spoke and all of that. So, anyways, but this is why I can only put my life on the word of Yah, and I just cannot get into these other books like that, because I understand that the other books are also a part of the reason why we have so much division in Israel, which is why, I'm coming to the end. I'm coming to the end. This is why we have so much, part of the reason why we have so much division. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 52. I mean, this is the only word where Yah himself tells forefather Moses to meet him on the mount, right? Where he gave Moses the tables of stone written by himself, written by Yah himself. The only book in Exodus 24 and 12, right? If you read that. But in Isaiah 52, I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith Yah, Ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith the Most High Elohim, My people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now, therefore, what have I here, saith Yah, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yah, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Therefore my people shall know my name, therefore they shall know in that day that I am he that doth speak. Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy Elohim reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing. For they shall see eye to eye when Yah shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem, for Yah has comforted his people, he has redeemed Jerusalem. Yah has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go you out from the midst of her. Be ye clean that bear the vessels of Yah. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for Yah will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your reward. So according to Isaiah 52 and verse 8, it tells us at that time we'll all see eye to eye. So I do understand why we're not seeing eye to eye now, and that's because we're not strictly going by the so-called Old Testament alone. Y'all already know, because y'all have been in this for years. Some of y'all that are listening, y'all have been in this way longer than me, and some of us, you know, some others that are practicing Hebrew, and y'all know it's bad enough to get all of us on one accord when it comes to the so-called Old Testament. Like, there's things in the so-called Old Testament that a lot of us don't agree on, which is crazy to me when it's plainly written, you know. But if we can't get along or, you know, come to an agreement with strictly the Old Testament alone, why are we going outside of it? You know what I'm saying? Because like now we're just like adding to the confusion and the division, right? If we all went back to the basics, right? If we all came back to just the 39 books, then, you know, I believe we will start getting somewhere, you know, because then we can argue that. That's fine. You know, you got some of us, we still arguing about day and night and all of that, right? Unfortunately. But, you know, that's just my take on it. Praise Yah. Again, I don't go outside the Old Testament, period. And I think we should consider, you know, just going back to that collectively, you know, as a whole, to be in agreement. That's all I wanted to bring out. That's all I had to discuss today in this Bible study. If y'all are still in the chat, let me know if y'all want to do a panel. If not, we will end the video here. All glory, all honor, and all praise goes to the Most High Yah. Hallelujah. Let me see. Let me read the chat. All right. Hey, shalom, shalom, Elder Moria Keskel and Elder Yamar and Elder Delphine. All praise to Yahweh. Hallelujah. So if y'all are still wanting to do a panel, let me know if y'all want to do a panel. Then I'll just start a new meeting. If not, we can end it here. Just to discuss some of the things in the study. All right. So thank you everybody for joining in. Praise the Almighty Yah. I'll see you all, y'all willing, next Sunday at 7 p.m. soon with another Bible study. And I love you all. Shalom.
What you know about an aura? Call me Deborah. Going to war, read only a Torah. What you know about a deep sleep over the black people in America? Call us the lost sheep. What you know about a tall tale sending you to hell? Disciples got the truth twisted like bread cells. What you know about an Ishmaelite? Jealous of an Israelite. Psalms 83 and 6 go see the light. It's revolution time. Get your scriptures. I'm fired, aimed, and ready for the kill. Daniel locked and sealed. Read the truth, be healed. Gone, Yehuda. Let me see you feel. I am Israel, descendants of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, the stock of Jacob. No weapon formed against me. And any tongue that should rise against me in judgment, I shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yah, who is called I am, because I am the daughter of Carol and David, the son of James, the son of Lola May, the daughter of Alina, who was a slave. That was granted freedom physically. I guess it's up to me to bring it spiritually. Who am I? Right. Our spirit should cause mortal men to walk upright through Solomon's sight. Out of 1,000 he found none. I live my life so maybe the children could find one. It's revolution time. Get your scriptures. I'm fired, aimed, and ready for the kill. Daniel locked it sealed. Read the truth, be healed. Gone, Yehuda. Let me see you feel. I am Israel, descendants of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, the stock of Jacob. No weapon formed against me. And any tongue that should rise against me in judgment, I shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yah, who is called I am, because I am.
The one who the heathens fear, who Yah say he bringing near, who have ears but can't hear, eyes that can't see. Yah's chosen people is me, the one who rejects the Trinity. Worship he who reigns for eternity. Israel lasts until infinity. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's his descendancy. The one who sent the captivity for 4 centuries, explained in Deuteronomy. Yeah, the victims of a stolen legacy. David is who the hell will be. You never know, it might be me. In these last days we will